Hello, I'm Christine from House of Smocking, and in this video I'm going to show you how to do the smocking for the design 2, which is in the kit for the Smocked sundress for the Little Darlings doll. So once again we start with our pleated fabric, and I've marked the centre 2 pleats so I can centre my design. And the design we're going to do, as I say, is design 2, which is a combination stitch, but it's a combination of 3 cables, a half set wave and 1 cable. So it's 3 cables, wave, 1 cable, 3 cables, wave, 1 cable. And you can see that I've got a line here marking the centre. So to start, that would be my holding row. We will start on the second row with an up cable. Now I do give the option in the kit to add beads to your smocking. So if you're going to add beads, then you would add them to a single cable stitch. So to start off, again we have 3 threads of DMC, and then we start on the middle, and from the pattern we started with an up cable. So starting just below. Right, it's that next line down, sorry. There we go. Just below, and once again to centre our design, we're going to start in the centre. Going to work out where half of where my thread is. So let's move that out of the way. And then I'm going to leave my half of it loose there while I do the stitches. So we're starting with an up cable. Which is on the 2 middle pleats, and then a down cable. And then we're going to wave up. Now, because I'm going to show you how to add beads, I'm actually using a tapestry needle. So this is the needles I'm using, so tapestry needle, size 28. And what this gives you is a long thin eye and a very narrow needle, which is the same thickness all the way down, so that you can get a bead all the way through. So because we're going to put it on a single cable, I've picked up my first pleat for the cable, but then I want to put on a bead. So we're going to add our bead. There we go. But then we're going to finish our cable. And this way the bead will sit on the top of the pleats, okay, like so. So then we do our wave down to the next pleat thread, and I'm doing my 3 cables as we did to start. And then I'm ready to add my bead again. So I pick up my first pleat for my cable, then I pick up my bead, onto the needle, and then pick up my second pleat to finish my cable off. And there we have the beads. Okay, so I shall finish the row continuing in 3 cables, a wave and a single cable, adding a bead on the single cable. But because I'm going to cut out the armholes, I won't add beads right at the end. So now I've got to the end of the I'll put a wave on my last pleat. So to finish off, I'm putting my needle down and behind the last stitch. So it's between the last 2 pleats, but behind the stitch, so that when I pull my thread through you can't see. So then I just finish off as normal, so through the pleat and through the loop, and I do that twice. And it's a bit harder with these needles because they're slightly blunt for going through the fabric, and then we just trim that off. Oops. There we go. So to finish this row off, I now rethread my needle with the loose thread, turn my work upside down and finish the last cable to make my 3 cable pattern. Okay. Then thread up because we're going to wave down to the next pleater thread. And then we're going to put a bead on this time. So I've got my bead on my needle. I've picked up my first pleat, and then I pick up my second pleat, and that means that the bead is then anchored on that cable stitch. So then I wave down and continue in pattern. And once again, I won't put a bead on the last cable because that'll be being cut out for my armholes. So there we have our first row finished with the beads added on the top cable stitch. So the next row is a mirror image of the first row. So for the second row, as I mentioned, it is a mirror image. We've already centered our design, so we can tie off on the back and come through just next to where that wave finished. Now you'll see that I've got a little bit of double-sided sticky tape on my thumb, and I've stuck some beads to it. Now this is an idea that came from Judith Adams, the smocking teacher from Australia. And if you're like me, then most of your beads end up down the side of the sofa. This is a fabulous idea. So rather than chasing them round or just waiting for to hoover them up later on, you can put just a few on your thumb. So they're in all ready for when you want one. So here we go. So we're going to do our wave. So we're picking up our first pleater thread for our cable, and it also creates the wave. Sorry, you have to pick. Okay, and then we pick our bead up. Yep. There we go. And then we finish our cable. Then we do our 3 cables, again trying to match them at the sides down there as well as matching them so that this cable sits just underneath the one above. So we're doing a mirror image, so where I had an up cable I would have a down cable for this one, and the same and reverse, so a down cable for an up cable. So. And cable thread up to come down, pick our first pleat up, and then we put our bead on. And then we carry on like we did for the first row, just doing the opposite stitch all the time. So now I've finished the second row, and I've got a bead on the single cable at the bottom as well. So that was just a repeat of the first row, but a mirror image. So to do the third row, now we're not going to put beads on this row because we've already got them on that row, so you don't really want 2 together. So we just do another row as the first row, but missing off the beads. So we've started with our wave, and then we do our cable stitch. You'll notice I've missed the bead off the first one anyway, just so that it doesn't catch in the sewing machine, because I'll be trimming that bit off later anyway for the armhole. So thread up, do your 3 cables, we slide the needle up to get in next to the bead. Just want our cable stitch to sit underneath. There we go. And then we just carry on like that to the end of the row. So we finished that row and we're ready to do the fourth row now. So we've started off again where the wave is, and then we're going to pick up the first pleat for our cable, our single cable, but we're not going to put a bead on yet because that's going to be within the armhole area. So wave down and then match your 3 cables. And then we pick up the first pleat for our single cable, and then we pick up our bead, and then we finish our cable. Oops, I'm at the wrong side. There we go. So then we carry on with our 3 cables down to adding a bead on our single cable all the way to the end. So now you can see I've finished all the rows and we've added beads just on one cable stitch, on the single cable stitch, and every other row. So the last thing to do to finish this off is to back smock the top row. So I'm going to turn the work over, and this is with just 2 threads, and it's on the very top holding row that I'm just going to do a cable stitch. So you can do a stem stitch or an outline stitch, whichever is easiest for you. It's just cable stitch is the quickest. And this just holds the pleats nice and snug so that they don't splay apart. So there we have our cable stitch finished. So that's that's been put on the top holding row, and then that's the front ready for making up. I hope you've enjoyed this video and I hope it's helped. Thank you.